Good evening, World Wide Web. This is James with another update video on Netflix. NFLX stock price 428 and 24 cents. We're up for the 5 years. We're up 5%. Ew. One day, small little drop. 5 days, 2%. 6 months, 65%, or 45%. Oh, coming up, coming back here in the last year. Nice rise. I don't know. Every time you say Netflix can't possibly grow any bigger, they grow bigger. Every time they lose subscribers, they turn around the next month and gain subscribers more than they ever had. Really confusing. Now they're offering a discounted plan if you're willing to watch commercials. I don't know. I've signed up for this streaming service probably 10 times. I've used it for probably 10 months. I always cancel it because I watch like everything on there, I feel like, within months. I streamed Ozark, was amazing. I watched the entire thing in, I don't know, maybe it was like 2 or 3 sittings. It was, whatever, 4 seasons of it, I think, almost. I was so excited for the final one. People can stream right through this stuff, and you don't have to be a member. You can cancel and come back a couple months later. I think they have a lot of fickle people like me that are in and out and in and out. And I'll probably continue signing up for Netflix once a year for a month and just sucking in all their content. I started watching horrible stuff, poorly made stuff, bad movies. You get down to their garbage. I'm finding better stuff on YouTube that's more interesting, that's more diverse, that has more offerings. That these documentary makers on YouTube are, I feel like, rivaling the ones on Netflix. The ones on Netflix are definitely more hype and entertainment value, and they're not really telling you the whole documentary the way it probably should be told. It's usually got a twisted purpose to make it seem more interesting. But yeah, let's let the numbers speak for itself instead of just letting me run my mouth and tell you what I think of Netflix. The company is a monster of growth. Annually, you're looking at $31.5 billion here in 2022. Obviously, year after year after year after year, it just keeps putting out more. There was a COVID rage, but after COVID, it kind of still went up. So it might have had a little interruption in the way this looks, but it probably would be a dead flat line if it wasn't for this one being so darn big, the 2021 line. Their profit for $4.5 billion for 2022, 5.12 billion the year before, a little bit less, I guess, but it's up from 2020, which was just 2.76 billion. 1.8 billion, 1.21 billion. Seems like they're getting better at making money. They're 5 years later, they're 4 times better at making profit. It's like the profit's gone up a bunch in 4 years. Quarterly, let's see how they're doing. Oh, dead flat line. I didn't expect to see that. Where is this flatlining at? 8.16 billion for the quarter. So that would be 32 billion a year, which is flatlining. It just kind of flatlined for this entire year. That was weird. No growth at all. We should have seen, well, I don't know what we should have seen. Maybe some growth. They're like exactly, well, that is mostly 2022. But this one here, did it go up? 8.16. Yeah, I guess it did a little bit. 785. There's 8 again. There's 8 again almost. There's just south of 8. So their profit came back last quarter. That's why everyone got back excited and got back on the bandwagon. Does it keep going up? These companies have something called a churn. Let's just say they have 500 million customers. They know every day when they wake up in the morning that they're going to lose 5 million customers every day. Every day of the week, they lose 5 million customers. and every day of the week they gain 6 million customers. So they just keep gaining customers, and they're also losing customers because people cancel too. And when you have that many subscribers, you do get that ridiculous amount of cancels like every day, whether you like it or not, whether you're good or you're bad. Just people's credit cards won't work. It'll decline. It'll do something. The yearly thing, the monthly trial will run out, or the weekly trial, or whatever it is. Cost to a customer. You make 6 million a day new ones. You lose 5 million a day. Eventually, they hit a point where they're losing 7 million a day, and they're only getting 5 million a day. They reach a point where they just can't possibly get any more a day because they're so in excess of what they're going to lose. Um, they could saturate your television with buy Netflix, buy Netflix, buy Netflix, and they could just hit you all day long with advertising, and it just wouldn't matter. You wouldn't be able to sign enough people up to equal the cancellations of a monster like this. It's the churn. It's how many customers you're growing or burning in comparison to the opposite of that. Um, you're gaining this many and you're losing that many, and there's an equalization point. And I would like to learn more about theirs, because when you hit a zero churn where it's like you're gaining 5 million and losing 5 million, that's what this looks like to me for the last year. Flat, 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 flat. You're not gaining new customers. You're not losing customers. They're a wash right now. We know you're gaining customers. We know you're getting, your 5 million a day, but you're also losing your 5 million a day. So your company is not changing in size. You're staying with a static number of customers. It's no longer growing. And what happens next is it starts declining, usually, unless the company can find a new way to reach the customer or bring in more revenue. Bringing revenue is it's gonna be nice, but I think they need more customers. They need that customer growth to continue, unless they can suck more revenue out of all of them to a sweet tune that might get them by for a few years. But you don't want to do anything that drives people away, obviously. Their balance sheet, right side up, pretty huge. $50 billion worth of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. I'm going to do, 8 billion this year. I see a flat line. I just don't think you would see that flat line during these years. I think you would notice the upwardness during the year. And I don't think you're seeing that here. I think they've hit churn terminal 0. And usually the next step is because you just can't get any more customers. Right now you're at a nice balance. And maybe they can hold this. I don't know. Maybe if there's a way to hold this, then that would be great. You just have to keep. It's like banging your head up against the wall, though, because you got to keep adding 5 million a day because you're losing 5 million a day. But you don't have any choice, because if you don't have the 5 million a day, you better keep those commercials running. You better not cut back on advertising. You better not try to save a buck in the salesman department. I don't know. That's the predicament that these companies find themselves in. Have they hit terminal velocity? I'm not going to say. I don't know. They could wake up and run a new ad campaign tomorrow and have it hit wonderfully. They could partner up with somebody and sneak onto the Google channel 24/7 and boom again. Or they could boom in another language, or God knows. They seem like they give money to their friends. They love giving money to political figures and royalty, and the Harry and Meghan Markle thing. They're giving them tons of money, like $50 million up front to make a series, and then they produce like one lousy episode. I don't know. Hopefully they made more of them, and why I don't get the rationale behind that. They made some really weird decisions. They've just got tons of money, and their earnings would be a lot better if they didn't make these kinds of decisions. If they didn't give, Barack Obama, they give him and his family $100 million. They said, we want you guys to produce, 12 shows or, like a $10 million an episode, and they can just have somebody else make it for them. And I don't even think they put out the entire series. And I think that was like 4 years ago. Like they put out 1 or 2 episodes, and they weren't very good, from what I understand. Um, it was just the same crap you see on TV for free, hope and change. Or historical scenes of whatever and presented by Michelle. I have no idea what it is, or why you would give somebody $100 million for that. You could hire all of Hollywood for that, like all of them, and to make their own movies. I mean, probably. You could probably have made 75 great movies with that money. Netflix, everybody. Strange decision, strange times. It's going to hit terminal velocity eventually. Are we there yet? Please leave it in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to bring you more updates as soon as we have news on more members, less members, churn going up and down. We're going to keep watching. Subscribe, though, and like the video. Much appreciated. Have a wonderful evening.